Hello, welcome to the third Pond5 YouTube Live Town Hall event. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Greg Andriacki. I'm the Senior Manager for Artists and Content here at Pond5, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Kunal Modi. Kunal is our Director of Marketplace Growth. He is intimately involved in all of the revenue-driving initiatives that we launch on the platform, and so we thought, who better today to have present than Kunal himself? Welcome, Kunal.
Thanks, Greg. Happy to be here.
Great. So as usual, we have a lot of information to get to, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into our presentation. To start with, we're going to be taking your emailed questions throughout the duration of this presentation to answer at the end in a Q&A segment. The address to send questions to is videotownhall@pond5.com. We won't probably be able to answer every question we receive, but we'll certainly get to as many as we can. And if we don't get to yours, please send that question to our support team so they can answer it. The first thing that we're going to run through are the results of our latest contributor survey. I want to say congratulations at the top to user uProduction, who was the winner of our random selection. uProduction is the proud owner of a $300 B&H gift card. I would say don't spend it all in one place, but you literally have to. And for those of you who received but did not take our survey, we'd certainly appreciate it if you did. It does not take much time at all, as you can see, about an average of 6 minutes, and we always get really great info from it. The best part of the survey, at least in my mind, is where we ask an open question about what we can do to improve Pond5. We read through all the responses, and we always find a few themes that, that keep coming up, and we pull those out, and we've highlighted some of those here for you guys to read through. Sales, obviously, is something everyone wants more of. Marketing, we're going to be doing a lot there, and we'll touch on that in just a little bit. And two others that came up a lot were portfolio promotion and creative direction. Those were highly requested, and we're going to be explaining in just a second how we've started approaching those two areas. But first, a question we always ask is, how has your income grown during the past year at Pond5? And the answer that we heard most this time was flat to slightly growing. That's that bar in the middle there at 27% of respondents. Now, that said, on the whole, there were more of you who said your income had declined in some way in the last year than who said it had grown. And from reading on the forums, and of course from speaking to many of you directly recently, I know that for some of our longstanding contributors, income growth is not quite what it used to be. And I'd like to take a moment here to address that head on. This graph here shows the number of clips on the Pond5 marketplace year by year. This is what we call exponential growth, folks. We currently have over 18 million clips live in the marketplace. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you can appreciate just what an increase that is over the early days. And the rate at which we grow the inventory is increasing every single year. Just look at this. We added more new clips just this year than we had in the entire marketplace in 2016. We now have 3 times as much video content as we did just 3 years ago. Now, it is almost impossible for any individual artist portfolio to grow at this same rate, basically to double in size every 2 years. And even if you could grow your personal portfolio that fast, there's still the same amount of front page real estate to be shared. Now look at the blue line. This line represents the number of active video artists on Pond5. As you can see, we've seen the same kind of increase here. If you joined us in, say, 2014, you were one of only 12,000 video contributors to the site. But the number of active video contributors in late 2019 is 4 times that number now. So our search result space and the sales that is generated by that space is now being shared by 40,000 of you. In this reality of exponentially more content and more competition, it shouldn't be surprising that it's becoming harder and harder to see the kind of growth that some of you longtime contributors were used to seeing. Now, all that said, we want to empower you as much as we can to produce the kind of in-demand content that our buyers are looking for. And so earlier this year, we launched our contributor portal, which is a repository of regularly updated information to help you succeed. It seems like a lot of you are getting value from this from what we've heard. If you haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you to do so. The address is contributor.pond5.com. And these are the sections that you told us that you use the most from the survey. What to create, data and trends, getting started, community, and FAQ. Now, given the situation that we outlined earlier about the increased competition among artists for earnings on Pond 5, we think there are three main things you can do to try to grow your individual revenue. Some are more difficult than others. Number one would be to simply continue to compete on volume, to try to grow at the rate of the market. That's very hard to do, I grant you. Number two would be to create unbelievably differentiated content, access to specific facilities or things like that. Also, I agree, very hard to do. So what do we recommend doing? The third thing is to create content that's in demand that we don't have enough of. And folks, that's where our shoot briefs come in. Pond 5 publishes shoot briefs in our Artist Insights newsletter and then saves these to an archive on the contributor portal. But according to our survey, only about half of you ever use them. And those of you who don't aren't typically adding the keyword code to the clips from the shoot. This code is really important because not only does it help us track performance of the content, but it also allows us to easily pull that content for use in collections and other marketing initiatives. And it's really valuable for our sales team too. One of the latest briefs we did is called Paranormal. We're already getting tons of direct requests from buyers via the sales team. And when that keyword code is included in your clips, we're literally able to pull up those clips on the spot to get them in front of the buyers who are requesting them. So please do yourselves a favor and add that code. Folks, it is a fact that clips submitted in response to our shoot briefs earn on average 4 times as much revenue as all other clips on the marketplace. So where can you find those briefs? Again, they're published regularly in our Artist Insights newsletter. If you're not getting Artist Insights, go to your email preferences on Pond 5 and make sure that you've selected to receive them. Once a brief is published, it then lives on in our contributor portal under the What to Create section. And I'm going to squeeze in a little note here about editorial too. You guys saw that over the summer we launched an editorial collection and brought on some pretty big content partners. I'm really happy to say that we've now opened this up to individual artists as well. So this is potentially another way to get exposure for your work. Just email support@pond5.com for more info on how you can have content considered for inclusion in our editorial collection. The next thing you guys asked for was help with portfolio promotion. Now, you already know that promoting your Pond 5 portfolio on your website and other social media channels is a great way to get people to a place where they can buy that content. And at Pond 5, we love getting that traffic. Not only does it help you make direct sales, it also gives us more links and boosts Pond 5's ranking on Google, which is good for everybody. So in order to encourage you guys to do this even more, we've launched a Promote Your Work contest where each month, the top 3 artists with the biggest percentage increase in referral traffic to their profile page will win prizes, including Visa gift cards and promotion from Pond 5. We're basically going to be paying you to promote your own work. And I hear that we've already had some winners, which is really cool. If you want to get promoted on Pond 5 social media, there's a place on the contributor portal to enter your social handle on the Promote Your Work section. We keep a running list of our artist social media handles, and we mine that constantly for content promotion on our channels. So you guys said you wanted marketing, share your handle with us, and we'll market you. Another thing you can do is volunteer for an Instagram takeover. We've done a few of these already, and they get lots of engagement from our followers. When you take over our Instagram, you're able to share with our followers content and behind-the-scenes stuff, showing people your workflow. To inquire about doing an Instagram takeover, go to the social media section of the contributor portal and click the Artist Takeovers tab. We're opening up our Instagram to promote you to all 23,000 of our followers, so give that a shot. All right, that's going to sum up section 1 of our presentation. I'm going to hand things over to Kunal now, who's going to walk you through the different types of buyers in our marketplace and the different initiatives we've launched or are launching to service those buyers.
Thanks, Greg. At Pond 5, we have 3 types of buyers. First are competitive pricing buyers. These buyers are Pond 5's core customers, and we're focused on making sure they stay on Pond 5 instead of going to other marketplaces. These TV and film production companies look for the right content for their stories. They are very savvy and often shop around for a competitive price. Next are budget-conscious buyers. These buyers have become a lot more prominent recently and are a segment we haven't really served before at Pond 5. These small businesses have very limited budgets and are primarily focused on using content for marketing and social media. Last but not least are our premium buyers. These buyers are high-end enterprises that are willing to spend money for the best, most exclusive content and extended licenses. With all three types of buyers, we are constantly conducting tests and launching new products to meet their needs. For example, many of you recently saw the price cap test, which targeted budget-conscious buyers. Depending on the channel a buyer comes from, they will see different content at different price points. So if you came from a Google search, you may have seen our lower price cap test. Since you're an artist and don't really make purchases, you probably saw this too. The results from the price cap test were very encouraging, and for some test groups, we saw a 30% lift. On the other end of the spectrum, we conduct higher price tests for targeting premium enterprise customers too. So now let's go into a little bit more depth on each buyer segment. For our competitive pricing buyers, as I mentioned before, they are Pond5's core customer, and our primary focus is to keep them on Pond5. These buyers are TV and film production companies. Their core business is all about creating stories through content, and they usually purchase clips in bulk. These buyers are looking for value, so they often have junior media buyers that shop around all the marketplaces for the best content, for the best price. The quote below is from a buyer who was creating a low-budget feature film. Because this buyer was paying for a clip out of his own pocket, he had to make sure he was getting it for the best price. To get the best price, he was shopping around at Pond5 and Shutterstock. For these competitive pricing buyers, we've launched two initiatives: Best Price Guarantee and Non-Exclusive Pricing. We wanted to make sure our core customers don't have to worry about price when they are making a purchase on Pond5. With Best Price Guarantee, they don't have to worry. If a buyer finds a clip they want for less on another marketplace, we will match that price. All they need to do is reach out to our support or sales team. They will help facilitate getting that new price. For non-exclusive content that appears on other marketplaces, it is important that Pond5 doesn't show the same clip for more. When prices are too high, it hurts both you and other artists. This is why we are adjusting prices to be more competitive for non-exclusive content. This ensures that you maintain the value and integrity of your work. Next, we have our budget-conscious buyers. These buyers are a new customer segment for Pond5, and their needs are very different than our core customers. These buyers are small businesses, freelancers, individual creators, and social media marketers that primarily use content for marketing and social media purposes. These small businesses aren't using sophisticated video editing tools, and they primarily need photo. These buyers are extremely budget conscious and are the type of buyers that find the new wave of subscription sites very appealing. In the quote below, you can see an example of a buyer that's comparing Pond5's a la carte marketplace to a really affordable subscription site. To better serve this new buyer segment and address competitive pressure, later this month, Pond5 will be launching a new separate subscription site called Hyperstock. Hyperstock is an affordable stock media subscription focused on photos, but also includes videos, music, and more. The content is highly limited and curated to meet the needs of small business owners, social media marketers, freelancers, and other individual creators. At this point, we are only including a limited number of artists. If you want to have your content included on Hyperstock, please reach out to us. The site only offers an individual license, which means large businesses can't use it. On average, we have seen that subscription buyers only make 3 downloads per month. But in order to create a worry-free, flexible product for these buyers and compete directly with competitive subscription products, we are offering unlimited downloads. Rest assured that we will be monitoring downloads to make sure no one is abusing this download policy. We know that many video artists also sell images. For artists with content on Hyperstock, this will be an additional opportunity for you to capture sales from this new buyer segment outside of Pond5's core marketplace. And finally, we have our premium buyers that are usually enterprises. These buyers are top-tier creative agencies, brands, and corporate clients. Their core business is to create high-quality, story-driven content. Although all buyers value exclusive content, we have seen the most traction for this type of content with our enterprise customers. Because they need the right content to fit their story, these buyers are willing to pay a premium and even add an extended license to the content they purchase. As you know, earlier this year, we launched the Video Exclusivity Program. For this program, we are launching several marketing initiatives targeting premium buyers. Here, you will see examples of the exclusive homepage collection, marketing emails to premium buyers, and exclusive artist Instagram takeovers. Another example of a premium buyer initiative is the new Marquis Collection we will be launching at the end of this month. This collection is hand-curated to appeal to top-tier creative agencies and brands. The content is exclusive and is priced to reflect the extremely high production quality. The content is for commercial use with the option for extended licenses. Let's take a look at 2 sizzle reels that highlight our Marquis Collection.
What it do, what it does, where you been, where you was, what it ain't, what it is. Face in the mud, I really be hating in the mud. Said I can't pick it up, but I did. Y'all know goon put too much juice in the sun. Cup full of blood and I gave it a chug. Wait till your neighbors get all snug, then play this real loud when you hear. This rap for the kids, something strange, can't say what it is. Your case came and say what he did. Make sure you move, put a chain on the kid. Yeah, I've been on top of the tower. Got the guy with the man. Gun cock in his pocket shower. Put you down with the squid since pocket power. I done hang with the guys and we talk for hours. Yo.
Those sizzle reels are great examples of the type of content we will be pitching to advertising agencies and creative studios through the Marquis Collection. So just to recap the 3 different buyers I just went over, we have our competitive pricing buyers who are Pond5's core customers. They are looking for a breadth of content at a competitive price. We have our budget-conscious buyers who are customers we haven't served until today. They are looking for the lowest price and generally prefer straightforward subscriptions. And we have our premium buyers, who are enterprises that are looking for the highest production value and are willing to pay more for it. In some cases, artists are able to create content for all 3 buyer types, while others are only able to support one. Ultimately, as an artist with Pond5, you choose which buyers the content you create serves. Thanks for your time, and Greg, back over to you.
Kunal, thanks a lot for that information. That was really great. We're going to shift gears now a little bit for this part of the presentation. We're going to be showing you guys a very short video that we call Mythbusters. Some of you may know Ryan McAfee from our YouTube series. He's also now our voice in the forums, in the artist forum. And Ryan's put together a really cool video debunking some of the commonly held misconceptions that artists might have about stock video licensing. So let's watch that video.
Hi Pond5 video artists, Ryan McAfee here to investigate some often talked about myths in the Pond5 contributor community. Time to find out what's fact or fiction as we explore some of the top myths and see if we can bust them. Myth: raising your price after an item has sold will increase your sales. Busted: data shows that increasing your price actually hurts probability of future sales. As an artist, nothing is more exciting than receiving the purchase notification email hitting your inbox. A logical inclination is to increase your price to see how much you can get when it sells again. However, Pond5's data shows that your chance of selling that clip again actually decreases every time you raise the price. Decreases in sales for a particular clip following a price change could hurt your rank in the algorithm, which is designed to maximize sales. If a clip has sold at a certain price point, especially more than once, that's an indication it's priced at a fair value to the customer and has a greater potential to sell again at that price. So, our recommendation is to set a fair price for your work and let the sales flow. To paraphrase the famous quote, build it and they will come. Myth: Pond5's algorithm favors specific artists or types of content. Busted: the algorithm is designed to make sure it returns relevant clips. It does not favor any type of artist or content. Helping our customers find the exact clip they're looking for within the world's largest footage collection is no small feat. We have a dedicated team whose sole focus is ensuring our search presents the most relevant content. The main factors our algorithm looks for in a given search are accurate metadata, sales history, and recency of sale. The more times your clip is sold for a given query, the more it will be boosted in search for that query. The more precise your metadata, the more likely your clip will rank towards the top of a search result. The most important metadata fields are, in order of importance, title, description, and keywords. The title is super important as it holds the most weight in our algorithm. For example, take a look at this adorable dog. The metadata accurately describes it as an Australian Shepherd puppy playing in the snow. If a customer searches for this specific breed or a puppy playing in the snow, this clip is among the first search results. If the clip only had a puppy or dog in the metadata, it would fall pretty far down the results. You want to make sure you have both generic and specific keywords in the title. Of course, it goes without saying that in addition to these factors, the quality of the content helps the customer determine whether to buy, so keep creating great work. Myth: Pond5 wants me to price my content as low as possible. Busted: we want you to price your content appropriately. Be your own critic and do your analysis. Take a look at similar clips in the marketplace and objectively see how yours stack up in quality, uniqueness, and differentiation. If your work is materially exceptional, you should price it higher. Above average clips tend to have unique perspectives, high level of cinematography, and are difficult to produce. If your work is similar to others out there, you should price it competitively. The average video on Pond5 sells for around $65. If you price above this number, your clips should be above average. Also keep in mind that customers do price shop, so we want them to have peace of mind that they're getting the best deal on Pond5 for the content they're purchasing. I hope you learned something from this special Pond5 Mythbusters video. If you have any more questions on the topics I've covered, head on over to the Pond5 contributor portal at contributor.pond5.com or send us an email at videotownhall@pond5.com.
All right, I hope you guys found that enjoyable and enlightening. Keep in mind, that's actually a cut down of the full video. You can find the full video on the contributor portal with more myths that Ryan busts. So please go and check that out when you can. All right, so at this point, it's time in the presentation for the Q&A segment. So our amazing team here off camera has been fielding your questions that have been coming into our email address and sending them over to us right here. So we're gonna select a bunch of those to answer on the air. Ready?
Yeah, let's
Cool.
go.
I'm going to start with this one because it's kind of what we started with in the presentation. This is a question about our non-exclusive pricing policy. So the question is, I thought Pond 5 allowed me to set my own prices. Why did you change my prices down to $79? So I don't mind taking this one if you're okay.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to a lot of you guys about this. Our friendly pricing policy, our non-exclusive pricing policy, is something that's actually been formalized and codified into our contributor agreement for several months now. And when we announced that, when we made that policy change, we sent out an email asking artists who had non-exclusive content priced higher on Pond 5 to please help us out and reprice that content downwards. Some of you did take action on that, and we're grateful. But there were some artists who did not, and that was the reason why recently we had to start going in ourselves and repricing some of that content. This is something that's really important to us and to our marketplace. This is about our buyers being able to trust our marketplace and use us again and again. Having the same content on another marketplace, really what we're talking about here, just to nail it down for you guys, is our biggest competitors' price points of $79 for HD and $179 for 4K. Having that same content on Pond 5 for a higher price makes us look more expensive. It makes buyers leave Pond 5, potentially never to return. This is not fair to our marketplace, and this is not fair to other artists. So this is something that we're serious about now, and we're going to continue to reprice content that we find overpriced. Okay. Kunal, how about a question for you about testing?
Sure. Yeah.
The question that came in is, can you please explain the price cap testing that you did over the summer?
Yeah. So, as I just went through in the presentation, Pond 5 has different types of buyers. Some of our buyers are price sensitive, others aren't, and so they're looking for different types of content at different price points. One of the reasons that we do these tests, including the price cap test, was to identify these buyers. So buyers that we thought were price sensitive, those are the ones that saw the price cap. Others that we thought were not price sensitive, more like some of our enterprise customers or customers that tend to purchase higher priced items, they didn't see the price cap. So in reality, it was a way for us to be able to test and make sure that we were giving the right content to the right type of buyer.
That's what it's all about, really, isn't it? Getting more scientific about who's visiting our website. Do they already have a Pond 5 account? Are they new visitors? Are they coming off of Google? And then optimizing for who that visitor is. If they've never been to our site before, maybe we show them content that makes them stick around and think that we do have stuff within their budget.
That's right.
And what were the results again?
Yeah, so for some of the test segments, we actually saw a 30% lift in their performance.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really great. And for those segments that did not perform well under the test, we obviously rolled that back.
Yep,
for those who it did, for the organic people coming to our site for the first time, that's what they're going to see.
Right.
It's about showing buyers the right content for them. How about this, just to tack on testing? Artists want to know, this question here is, how many more of these tests are you conducting? Are they over? And can you at least warn us the next time you test?
Sure, great question. I think it's really important for us to constantly test. I think there are our buyers show different behaviors all the time. There are a lot of dynamics that we need to react to. And honestly, if we didn't really do testing, we'd see a huge drop in performance. And that would ultimately result in an artist not actually receiving as many sales as they would have before. So, I think for us, it's really important to make sure that we have a lot of data and rigor behind the test that we're doing, that we have a lot of confidence behind it. And, and we want to constantly be running these tests because, buyers do change their behavior over time.
We wouldn't be serving you if we weren't testing. We'd be negligent. We do it all the time. And to the question of notification, of course we want to be as transparent as possible, but we're running so many tests. We both can't email every single week about a new test. And we can't have our hands tied in terms of the agility of being able to test and evaluate and iterate on those tests.
That's right. I mean, a lot of times we're reacting to dynamics pretty quickly. And, because we have to react pretty fast, sometimes it's not always feasible to reach out and communicate, but we do definitely make a best effort whenever we do have a chance to.
Okay, so perhaps not surprising, but we have received a lot of questions about Hyperstock. So, okay, this one artist asks, it's a good way of putting it, I am not a fan of unlimited downloads. Why did you go this route with Hyperstock, and how can I be sure that the no download limit won't be abused? Do you want to take that one?
Sure. So, being on our marketplace growth team, one of my main objectives is to make sure that we're speaking to customers and understanding what they're looking for. And so when we were trying to create Hyperstock, we reached out to freelancers and creatives, and one of the things that they constantly told us is that their need for media fluctuates over time. So sometimes they have a lot of different projects that they're working on, and they need a lot of downloads. And in other cases, they may not need it. And on top of that, we've also realized that in many cases, they're actually not using all their downloads that they have. But we wanted to create flexibility in the products. We wanted to make sure that, while you're focused on your budget and making sure you're not spending a lot of money, that you don't have to worry about whether you can actually, complete all the project work that you have. And that's why we have unlimited downloads. On top of that, we also are seeing that a lot of competitive products, a lot of subscriptions that have recently launched are offering unlimited downloads. So just to be competitive with the market, we offer it as well.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of highlight what you said now and just before as well is that unlimited downloads is a marketing term, really. What we see is that the behavior of these buyers is that they're downloading 2-3 clips a month. We don't want to handcuff ourselves out of the gate by saying it's 2 to 3 downloads a month or even 10 downloads a month. We want to actively compete for these buyers who are currently using other subscription products to get them to use Pond5 subscription products and earn you revenue.
That's right. And also, we wanted to make sure that we were monitoring this too. So we have built in mechanisms to make sure that we're able to track how many downloads are actually occurring. So if someone is abusing and downloading hundreds and hundreds of clips or images, we will crack down and make sure that they understand that that's not our policy. So we do want to make sure that we do give flexibility, but at the same time, there are rules that we've set in place.
Right. Okay, this is a one I kind of was hoping would come in. I was sure it would, and I'll take a stab at this one. It's also about Hyperstock. The question is, how are you addressing potential cannibalization of marketplace content with Hyperstock? So this is a big one, and this is one that is incredibly important to us, obviously. As you guys have just seen in our presentation, we have a core business to protect. We want to launch this new product and we want to gain incremental revenue, but we certainly don't want to hurt our core business. And so we've built this entire Hyperstock product with that in mind. So what are some of the protections against cannibalization? First and foremost, the selection of content, right? This Hyperstock is being marketed as an image first platform. So that right there kind of differentiates it from our a la carte video marketplace. And even among the videos we're going to have on Hyperstock, it is an incredibly limited selection of 1 million videos. So this right off the bat should rule it out for our primary buyer group of production companies who need that depth and breadth in our library in order to tell their stories. That's why they use Pond5, is because they can search all of our 18 million clips and use them. They would never use a product that limited them in this way. Furthermore, as Kunal mentioned in the presentation, the license restrictions. So we're only offering Hyperstock downloaded content under an individual license. Simply put, this is unusable for production buyers. The individual license limits it to one single editor using the file, to no added indemnifications or protections depending on audience size or anything like that. So it right off the bat, it's unusable for them. We're also going to be doing things like finding out the size budgets of people who are using Hyperstock, and there's actually going to be a budget limit. And if your budget is over a certain limit for your production, you won't be allowed to use Hyperstock. You'll use Pond5. So these are all the ways in which. Oh, one more, which is actually really important that we should talk about, is the fact that that's the main reason why we created a separate website. Right? We have an entirely separate website, a separate brand. This is going to allow us to further segment these populations and really market Hyperstock to those who are going to use Hyperstock and continue to market Pond5 to production.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, like, it's really for a different segment of like the customer base. And so, like, because it's so image focused, because it's an individual license, we're really trying to tailor it to a specific audience.
Yeah. And just as a side note, I'm sure we'll be fielding plenty of questions about this through our support channels and probably me directly as well. But Kunal mentioned, about the content on Hyperstock. We'll talk about that more offline, but never are we going to put your best-selling content into a subscription product. That would be the dumbest thing we could possibly do.
Right.
We certainly won't be doing that. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. I've got another one here that's, this is one that gets asked a lot, so I'm not surprised to see this here. Discounts. Why is Pond5 constantly discounting my work, especially after you said that we need to stop racing to the bottom? I can handle one too if you want, because I've talked to several artists about this in the past. I want to make something really clear, guys, about discounts, which is that, Pond5 is not looking to discount your content. We don't want to discount your content. We want to sell it at full price. The reality is that we're in a competitive environment where larger buyers are shopping around for the best price on their bulk purchases. We discount strategically. We discount judiciously, always in cases where we have a large buyer engaged and want to assure their return business. And you can rest assured knowing that any discount that you see on an item on Pond5 was discounted as a result of a direct competitive pressure that we were feeling. It wasn't just because we wanted to. And as a final point, I always like to note that the revenues we've paid out to artists in extended license sales vastly outstrip the amount that we ever discount. So that's how we're looking at it. Okay, here's one about the different programs and how to participate. Maybe this one's for you.
Sure.
So how can I get included in Marquis and the Hyperstock collection?
Yeah, great question. So both collections, so Marquis and then Hyperstock, are very, very limited. We want to make sure that you can apply those. So for Marquis, you can go to the contributor portal. On the contributor portal in the FAQ section, there's an application form for you to submit. For Hyperstock, because Hyperstock is a separate business than Pond5, we have a different support email. So it's support@hyperstock.com. You can reach out to us there, and we will help you figure out how to get you on.
And just one point of clarification on Marquis. You have to be an exclusive artist, obviously. It's all exclusive content in Marquis, or have an exclusive account with us, right? Okay, I think we're going to do one more. I really wanted to get to this one. This one is about partner content. So the question that came in is, why are you selling partner content, for example, NFL Films and Reuters, instead of our content? I've heard a few of you guys express this, so I wanted to, when I saw this one come up, I wanted to answer it. I think it's safe to say that monetizing B-roll footage through stock is not a secret anymore. You've seen the graphs we showed during the presentation of the increase in the number of video contributors on Pond5, but more and more we're also seeing large organizations and content companies get the idea, finally, that they're sitting on an extra revenue stream of B-roll footage that they can chop up and monetize. And so they've been approaching us, and we've been doing partnerships. This is a good thing, both for Pond5 and for artists. It's obviously good for us because this is really good content. It's content that we didn't have before and is in demand from buyers who ask for it. And I think it's good for artists too, because having this content on our site attracts more and new buyers to our platform who may have come to the site to purchase a Reuters clip, but then maybe they wind up purchasing one of your clips. And finally, just to tie this back to how this is really for everyone, to editorial specifically, as I mentioned, we've now opened that collection up as well to our citizen journalist artist community. So you can send us an email and you can see about getting your work also featured in that collection. Okay, why don't we stop there? I think we answered a range of questions. If you didn't get your specific question answered, don't worry. You know how good our support team is at getting back to folks. Please send us those questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Kunal, thanks for presenting to us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys on the next town hall.